Hesitation is already an answer. Not a confusing one, not a complicated one, but an answer. And once you see that, you stop waiting on clarity that already showed up. Because hesitation doesn't mean I don't know. Hesitation means I know enough and I'm not moving. And that realization, that changes everything. Previously on Go Deeper Please, we eliminated the ones who talk too much. The ones who think more words will save them. The ones who explain, justify, soften, and perform when silence would have told them everything. We learn that authority doesn't announce itself. It contains itself. And today, we eliminating the next group, y'all. The ones who keep waiting when the answer already came. Welcome to Go Deeper, Please. We push past surface level information here to give you business frameworks wrapped in relationship truths. My name is Marquita, and I created this place so we could all stop romanticizing confusion and start telling the truth about behavior. And that's both in our businesses and our relationships. Because 9 times out of 10, we approaching them the same way. Today, we're talking about hesitation and why that's not neutral. Because hesitation is not a pause. It's a position. We start every episode on the surface, and this one ain't going to be no different. So on the surface, if you ever seen any version of that pop the balloon game, you already know how this goes. Nobody gives some type of long explanation. Nobody's debating. Nobody says, I need more information. They either lean in or that balloon pops. And the reason that framework works is because it reflects real life. When people know, they know. And when they don't, they stall. That's true personally. That's true professionally. The ball doesn't pop because, the balloon don't pop because somebody's mean. It pops because the body already decided before the mouth could even catch up. And most of us, we were trained to ignore that moment. Taught to wait and be patient and give grace and not jump to conclusions. And here's the problem with all of that. Waiting doesn't make indecision disappear. It just makes you complicit in it. Because the fact of the matter is, and let me slow down and say this clearly so you can hear me. Hesitation is not a pause for clarity. It's a pause for comfort. People hesitate when something don't sit right. They hesitate when the risk feels higher than the reward. They hesitate when they don't trust the outcome or when they're not sure they want to deal with you. And instead of naming that, they delay and they string you along, or they allow you to string yourself along because they're buying time. They keep you close enough because they don't want to lose access, but far enough to avoid commitment. That is not confusion. That is information. And here's where people get it wrong. We all treat hesitation like it's some type of puzzle, something that need to be solved or soothed or waited out. But hesitation isn't asking for patience. It's asking to be respected. So let's go deeper, please. Because now we got to talk about how it's not that deep. And as somebody who's been there, I can stand in there and tell you exactly why people hesitate and why you take it so personally. Because that's what I did. And we're going to pause here so y'all can get y'all notebooks. Because this is where people get hurt unnecessarily, myself included. And I want to take this sting out of this without taking the truth out of it. So I'm going to be very gentle today, or at least gentler than I normally am. But hesitation feels personal. It lands on us personally. And most of the time, it ain't that deep. People hesitate for reasons that have very little to do with you and everything to do with choosing what would require of them. And when you don't understand that, you start trying to fill the gaps in with stories that ain't even true. So let me breathe and slow this down. Hesitation is not rejection. It's self-protection. Most people don't hesitate because they're cruel. They hesitate because choosing would force them to confront their capacity, their consistency, their follow-through, their emotional availability, their financial readiness, their nervous system limits. And instead of saying, I'm not equipped for this, they don't say nothing. That's why a lot of y'all that's personal trainers get ghosted. They stall y'all, they wait it out, because hesitation feels safer than being honest with yourself. Not kinder, just safer. And here's why majority of us feel it as a maybe. Because this is where it gets tricky. Hesitation feels like a maybe to a person being waited on. Because you're still getting something. A response, a check-in, a compliment, a soon or one day. And your brain says, well, technically they didn't say no. But your body says, something not moving. And when them two things don't match, people start chasing clarity. You start asking better questions. You start softening your tone. You start making it easier to choose you. Not because you lack value, but because uncertainty makes humans uncomfortable. That's just human nature, y'all. And here's why we stay in hesitation so long. People stay in hesitation when access is still available. There are no consequences. No decision is required. Nothing is being asked of them. And as long as you're willing to wait, they're willing to hesitate. That's why you could be somebody's longtime boo thing and never get a ring. Or get a ring and never cross that, jump the broom. That don't make them villains. It makes them human. But it does make us, you included, responsible for how long it continues. This is where we all mess this up at one point in life. Because we all, at one point, assume, if I just wait a little longer, they'll feel safer. If I just give them space, they're going to come around. If I don't pressure them, they'll choose freely. But hesitation is not waiting to bloom. It's waiting to be acknowledged. Period. Because when it's not, it hardens. Here's the quiet truth. The part that none of us want to admit. Some people hesitate because choosing you will raise their standard of their life. It's going to require something of them. They're going to have to be more consistent. They're going to have to be more decisive. They're going to have to regulate their emotions and actually follow through on what they promise. And that's not flattering to say, but it's true. And instead of rising to the occasion, they want you to stall them out, Debo. Not because you're too much, but because the version of themselves that could hold you has yet to be built. And here's why it's not about your worth. Let me be clear here. Write it down if you need to. Hesitation is not a measure of your worth. It's a measure of readiness. And confusing the two is how we all start auditioning. We start playing roles that we never got casted for. You don't need to prove yourself to somebody who ain't decided they capable of choosing well. You don't got to be their wife. You don't have to be their makeshift mentor. So no, hesitation doesn't mean you're unlovable. It doesn't mean that you ask for too much. It don't even mean that you move too fast. But it does mean something in the system is not settled. And now, it's time to go deeper, please. I want to dive into what hesitation is and what it's actually protecting and why the nervous system always votes first. Because hesitation is a logical response. We still right here in nerves, right? People is nervous, especially when they're not in alignment. And it's a nervous system response. The body gonna hesitate when it feels that inconsistency, or worse, that pressure, unpredictability, emotional labor. Even when the mind says, that makes sense, the body still feels like something's off, and your body gonna win. It get the first vote every time. So that's why people hesitate even when they like you, even when they don't, even when they can't eventually see themselves with you. They can respect you. Your offer can be great. Something that you like is not the same as something that feels like you can settle in. And here's what hesitation really sounds like internally. I don't want to deal with the emotional cost of choosing this right now. Not because it's bad, but because it requires regulation. And a lot of people aren't there yet. Most people don't hesitate because they're not sure of you. They hesitate because choosing will force them to be responsible for what comes next. Responsibility is heavier than curiosity. So if you're a service-based business, I can watch you all day. I can admire you. But the moment that you promise me results, I have to really dive in to say, I want that weight. I want to carry it. I want to do the work and be disciplined and go along that journey with you. It's not about time, y'all. Time is neutral. Hesitation is not. So when somebody says, I need more time to think about it, or I just need more time to get myself together, what they really are saying is, I don't feel settled yet. I'm not confident enough with myself that this will go well. I'm not sure I want the consequences that come with saying yes to this. And I don't trust this enough to choose it. Because if time were the issue, movement would follow the clarity. But when time passes and nothing changes, the answer already came. Time reveals truth. It don't create it. Let's talk about interest versus intention. And let's separate this cleanly. Interest sounds like, ooh, I love this. I'm excited. You know, that's dope. That makes sense. But intent, I love that. That's when you talk to me nice. What's next? How do we start? I'm ready. Send me the invoice. Interest like proximity. Intent initiates alignment. And grown people don't confuse the two. So let's go deeper, please. Let's get fully immersed because we about to go into the hesitation ladder. Here's the framework. Hesitation don't show up all at once. It escalates. So the bottom level is delay. I just want a little more time. We don't have no questions here or no objections. We just let it be delayed. This right here is the soft no. Level 2, when we take it up a notch, that's our conditional yes. That's when they say, I'm in, but but with contingencies, but with expectations or exceptions, but with moving the goalpost but no touchdown. This is uncertainty, negotiating control. Level 3 is that energy drop. You're going to get slower replies, less enthusiasm, shorter messages. Nothing is moving. This is disagreement without honesty. And level 4 is the ghosting, or that soft exit. You ain't going to get no closure, no decision. They just disappear into the background. And it's not because they cruel. It's because hesitation stayed unresolved for too long. Let's go deeper to the point of no return, because we done came this far. You can't come back from it. Once you realize that waiting doesn't make people more ready, you stop waiting. You stop hovering. You stop following up for reassurance. From this point forward, you either respect the answer or you teach people that delay works on you. Period. So say this slowly. Write it down or put it in your notes app. Waiting does not create alignment. It exposes the lack of it. Time for our elimination round. Who went home today? Because let's be honest, somebody got the boot today. And today, what actually got eliminated was the belief that hesitation meant potential. On Pop the Balloon, this is when the balloon actually pops. No speech, no explanation, just information. And in business, that sounds a whole lot like, I'm just gonna move on. Not angrily, but very clearly. That's all I got for y'all today. You don't need to convince people to choose you. You need to notice when they haven't. And once you stop romanticizing hesitation, you create space for decisiveness. Next episode, we're talking about why trying to be everybody's type is about to get you cut. Because alignment requires exclusivity. Go deeper with me. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 11:11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come and see us. Bye.